Good afternoon, Sue Smith sitting in for Aaron Rand, and it's time to check in with Dr. Joe. He's the host of the Dr. Joe Show and the director of the McGill Office for Science and Society. And today he wants to talk about bananas and whether you should put them in your smoothies. It's all because of this clip that has gone viral.
One thing I do not add to my smoothie is a banana.
Uh-oh.
I used to put them in my smoothies.
Dr. Patrick, what happens when you put a banana in a smoothie?
What happens is there's something in the banana
Uh-huh.
called polyphenol oxidase.
That doesn't sound good.
Doesn't sound good. Polyphenols are what I just said are beneficial.
Yes.
Oxidase, polyphenol oxidase, is essentially an enzyme that's breaking down the polyphenols. And there have now been studies that have come out showing if you add bananas to blueberries, you're not getting as many polyphenols. In fact, it's quite a bit lower.
Okay, there you go. That is a clip which is on Instagram. You heard the voice of Rhonda Patrick. She's a PhD biologist, and Mel Robbins is the one asking the question. Dr. Joe, what do you think of this?
Okay, first of all, Rhonda Patrick is actually quite a reasonable science communicator. I've seen some of her other Instagram and videos, and they're pretty good. And she actually does one herself on this polyphenol oxidase thing, which is much more reasonable than this one, which is a little bit skewed. Context, of course, matters a great deal. Indeed, there was a study that was, properly peer-reviewed and published in a major scientific journal about polyphenol oxidase in banana and what it could do to compounds we call polyphenols, which are found in many fruits and berries, which have a history of being sort of beneficial to health, although even that is, somewhat overstated in many of the public domains. And what they did in this study, which involved 8 men, which is a very small number to start with, so you have to keep that in mind, that when you look at scientific studies, a population size of 8 is not very meaningful. But what they did was they investigated whether or not adding bananas to a smoothie would have an effect on these beneficial polyphenols that are found in berries. However, contrary to what all of these Instagrams and the related posts say, the experiment did not involve bananas and blueberries at the same time in a smoothie. What they did was take bananas and add some isolated polyphenols and make a smoothie of that. And then they took some berries, added isolated polyphenols to that, had people drink that, and then measured blood levels of these chemicals in the participants. But never did they do the experiment where the banana and the blueberries were in the same smoothie. So all of these polyphenols that they were studying, the levels of in the blood, were added to the smoothies. And why were they added? Because the study was financed by the Mars Company, which is a chocolate manufacturer. And these the polyphenols that they talk about are found in chocolate. So everything that they do is based on promoting these compounds that are found in chocolates. So although it's not really mentioned in this particular study, one of the reasons that they did this is to promote the addition of isolated polyphenols, which are available as supplements, believe it or not, from the Mars Company, right?
Right.
So of course that doesn't negate the study. I mean, the study did show that in combination with bananas and these added polyphenols, you have somewhat less in your bloodstream. But this is meaningless in the context of an overall diet. I'm always opposed to looking at any single food as being beneficial or detrimental to health.
Right.
It just doesn't work like that. What we have to take a look at is the overall diet. That's why, when I teach my course on food and nutrition, where we have hundreds of students, and they constantly, ask about evaluating their personal diet. I say, look, if you want to have a scientific evaluation of your diet, take a dietary survey of what you are eating. Keep a diary. Write down everything that you eat over a 2-week period, absolutely everything, including the amounts. And of course, that already presents a problem because they're very poor at determining amounts.
Of course.
On how many grams.
Yeah,
a serving,
portion sizes are
would
difficult.
Be, right. But unless you do that, it really is unreasonable to make any kind of commentary on the diet. Because, of course, it's possible to never eat blueberries and have a great diet. It's possible to have blueberries every day and still have a terrible diet. It all depends on what else you are doing. So to focus in on one specific food, such as the blueberry, and think that adding bananas to it is going to have a significant effect on your, overall well-being is being very, very naive. Furthermore, it's also important to point out that in this particular study, where they did measure that the addition of the banana could reduce the polyphenol level somewhat, they never investigated whether or not that had any effect on health. So, they didn't check to see, did it have any effect on cholesterol levels? Did it have any effect on breathing issues? Any effect on migraines? Anything that has to do with health? No, there was nothing about that. It was just a simple study with added polyphenols to a smoothie showing that bananas would reduce the blood levels somewhat. It is of some academic interest, but it really has no practical significance. So by all means, add your bananas to your blueberry smoothie if you like the thickness that it imparts. I really would not be concerned. One other thing to mention, which actually Dr. Patrick does mention in one of her other videos, is that if you are concerned about this and you really want to maximize the polyphenol intake from your blueberries, instead of a banana, you can add an avocado, because the avocado does not have the enzyme, the polyphenol oxidase, that destroys these polyphenols, and it will give the same kind of thickness to your smoothie as a banana does. And actually, the avocado is even more nutritious than the banana. But once again, I don't want to give the impression here that the avocado is some kind of miracle food, because there are no such things as superfoods. There are good diets and there are poor diets. And you have to take a look at all of the components of the diet and not focus in on single ingredients. But of course, that is what gets you followers on these Instagram posts. When you post something about, don't mix bananas with blueberries, that will get you mentions and maybe even monetize your posts. Whereas if you would say that, well, if you like your smoothies and you're adding blueberries to it and you're adding bananas at the same time, you might reduce by a small amount the polyphenol content, which some studies have suggested have beneficial effects. But in the overall context of your diet, it makes no difference.
Right.
But that doesn't get you a following.
All right. I really have a craving for a smoothie now and I'm going to put bananas and blueberries, Dr. Joe. Thank you so much.
And shove an avocado in there.
And shove an avocado in there. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
The newest tracks. Let's go. New music. And the next big thing.
Always on the new music first.
Your first place to hear it all.
'Cause you gon' like it, love it, wanna play it twice. Playing now.
iHeart New Music. Your digital station for brand new drops, fresh finds, and tomorrow's bangers.
I think we need something new.
Discover iHeart New Music. Always fresh, always first. Stream now on the free iHeartRadio app.